Pay more when you are poor. A $35 late fee can erase dinner money. If you are living on a low or middle income and feel trapped, why are wet boots and empty shelves charging you extra? If a paycheck is $500 and one bill hits late, that single $35 fee takes 7% before rent, gas, or groceries. Add one overdraft or one emergency ride, and the month starts behind. And the worst part is that this extra cost often looks normal until the statement arrives. This is Wealth Mentor Pro, where every lesson is a step closer to your freedom. In the next 2 minutes, I will show you where the money leaks first, and by minute 14, the $500 buffer that starts shutting them down. This is the core idea. Having less cash on hand often makes everyday life more expensive. If you feel stuck, the real question is not just whether you are budgeting badly. The real question is whether you are paying a penalty for being short on cash. In many cases, you are. People call this the poverty premium or the poor tax. It is not a government tax. It is the extra money you pay in fees, higher unit prices, and faster replacements because cash arrives in small amounts and emergencies never check your calendar first. If this framing helps, tap like, and I will build more like it. And before anyone says just budget better, that advice often skips the real issue, which is timing. You can know exactly what you should do and still get hit because the electric bill is due on Tuesday and your paycheck lands on Friday. The fee usually arrives before the apology email. A lot of videos also focus on small treats and ignore big leaks. Saving $4 on coffee matters, but one $35 fee cancels almost 9 of those wins in one shot. So let us start where money quietly disappears first, because the first leak is not always debt. Sometimes it is the package size. Think of money pressure like a bucket with a small hole. If you can only buy a $2 roll today instead of a $12 bulk pack, the leak is unit price. A family might pay $2 for 4 rolls this week, then $2 again next week, while a warehouse pack cuts the price per roll by 30% to 50%, but needs $12 or $18 up front. And it is not only the sticker price. Smaller trips can add bus fare, gas, or time you do not have. If you make 4 small runs instead of 1 planned run, the cheap option can quietly charge you in transportation and time too. That sounds small until you repeat it across toilet paper, detergent, rice, diapers, soap, and trash bags. Paying an extra $1 here and $3 there can easily become $20 a month, which is $240 a year. And that is before a single emergency shows up. Nobody feels powerful buying 1 roll of toilet paper. This is where the boots theory hits so hard. Terry Pratchett described a rich man buying $50 boots that last 10 years, while a poor man buys $10 boots that last 6 months. 10 years later, the poor man has spent about $200 and still has wet feet. That story sounds simple until it turns into work shoes, a car battery, or a phone charger. Buy the cheapest charger for $8 3 times, and you spent $24 plus inconvenience. Buy a durable one for $20 once, and you may be done for a year. Take diapers or detergent as another example. A small pack can feel safer because it costs less today, but if the unit cost is higher by even 20%, the monthly total rises while the cash stress stays the same. The payment felt easier. The month got harder. Cheap can be expensive with better branding. This is not saying low-cost items are always bad, and it is not shaming you for buying what you can afford today. It is saying the market rewards cash reserves. The person who can absorb the bigger upfront hit often gets the lower total cost. That matters for wealth building because every extra dollar lost to unit price penalties is a dollar that never reaches a buffer, never pays down high-cost debt, and never gets the chance to become an asset. Net worth means what you own minus what you owe. Start with one small action today. Pick one repeat item and compare unit prices on your next 2 shopping trips. Do not try to optimize the whole cart. Just one item. If the larger option saves money but the upfront cost is too high, set a buy-up target for that item only. Maybe you need an extra $6 this week so you can buy the larger pack next time. 1 target is manageable. 10 targets become noise. Why keep it that small? Because the goal at the beginning is not perfect efficiency. The goal is one reliable monthly win you can repeat without stress. If you save even $4 a month on one item, that is $48 a year. Then you stack the next item. If you ignore this leak, you can stay in weekly emergency mode even after a small income increase. That is the trap. More effort, same feeling. And the next leak is harsher because it can charge you for being broke more than once in the same week. Now picture a current pulling your money sideways before it reaches your priorities. That current is fees and timing. Your rent clears, your balance drops low. A subscription renews for $12, and an overdraft fee hits for $35 on top of the $12. That is a $47 hit caused by a $12 charge. If it happens twice in a month, that is $94. Over a year, that becomes $1,128, and many people never see the full total because the pain arrives in separate notifications. Banks call it a fee schedule, not a surprise party. And it is not only overdrafts, check cashing fees, minimum balance fees, ATM fees, money order fees, and short-term borrowing fees tend to cluster around low balances and unstable paychecks. In some communities, being unbanked or underbanked can drain a meaningful share of income through transaction costs alone, sometimes around 5% to 10%. Here is how this stacks up in real life. You cash a check and pay a fee, you pay a bill in person because online payment needs a card. You buy a money order for rent. Then you use an out-of-network ATM on Sunday because the nearest branch is 2 bus rides away. None of those charges looks huge by itself. Together, they can take a real bite out of a tight month. Late fees stack onto the same problem. A credit card, utility bill, or rent-related charge can add $25, $35, or more, not because you forgot math, but because the dates do not line up. A paycheck timing gap of 3 days can create a penalty that takes 3 hours of work to erase. And once one bill runs late, the whole month becomes more fragile. You pay the late fee, your balance drops, another payment posts, and now the next bill is short too. This is why so many people feel like they are running and standing still at the same time. A $40 tow truck can erase a very disciplined week. This is where a lot of discipline talk misses reality. It assumes a stable month, but for many people, real life is lumpy. Hours change, a child gets sick, a shift gets cut, a pending charge sits longer than expected. The spreadsheet can look clean while the timing is still a mess. If this feels personal, that reaction makes sense. There is also a mental cost here that people rarely respect. It is called cognitive load, which simply means your brain is burning energy on constant money decisions. When you are tracking 8 due dates, 3 balances, and a maybe on next week's hours, your decision quality drops. Not because you are careless, because your brain is tired. Then people judge the tired decision instead of the pressure that caused it. Someone pays a convenience fee to avoid a shutoff, and the internet calls it irresponsible. But inside that moment, the choice may be protecting work, food, or sleep. Do this today and keep it simple. Write your next 14 days of due dates and expected deposits on one page. Paper is fine. A note on your phone is fine. Seeing the gap is the first defense against it. Then mark the dangerous days with a star. Any day your balance is likely to fall below $100 before a bill posts gets a star. You are not predicting failure. You are identifying where a fee can enter the story. The stake is simple. If you do not control timing, timing controls your fees. And once fees start stacking, they take the exact cash that would have stopped the next fee. There is one more cost that almost never gets explained early enough, and it is bandwidth. When money stress stays high, every small problem feels urgent. Urgent decisions are often the most expensive ones. So the real question becomes this: how do you buy back mental space before you have extra money? The third leak feels slower, but over time, it can be the most expensive. Think of a floodplain where the damage comes from repeat exposure, not one dramatic wave. A $2,500 car with recurring repairs can cost $300 this month, $180 next month, and then a missed shift after a breakdown. On paper, the cheaper car can look like the responsible choice because the upfront cost is lower. In practice, if it keeps failing, it can generate repairs, towing, lost wages, and stress that exceed the payment on a more reliable option. The same logic shows up in appliances, shoes, mattresses, and phones used for work. That does not mean you should finance a nicer car tomorrow. It means lowest sticker price and lowest total cost are not the same thing. If a $60 appliance lasts 6 months and a $120 version lasts 3 years, the more expensive one may be cheaper per month. There is a second layer here, and it is the timing of the failure. If the cheap appliance dies in a calm week, you replace it. If it dies the day before rent, you use a card, pay a fee, or delay something else. The same item can cost more simply because it failed at the worst possible time. A lot of videos skip this because it is harder to explain than stop buying stuff. But your life runs on tools. When your tools fail, your budget gets ambushed, and then the psychological cost starts piling on top of the financial cost. Replacing the same item again feels defeating, so people delay replacement, which can create bigger failures later. You wait on the brake repair, then pay for rotors too. You ignore the tire, then lose a day on the roadside. We do not always make bad money choices. Sometimes we make expensive survival choices. Here is a useful step for today. Start a brakes often list with your top 3 recurring repair categories. One note on your phone is enough. Patterns show up faster than guilt. Next to each item, write 2 numbers. Write the replacement cost and the failure cost. Replacement cost might be $80 for work shoes. Failure cost might be a missed shift worth $120. That comparison changes decisions without shame. This matters for long-term wealth building because reliability is a financial asset even when it does not sit in an investment account. A dependable car that gets you to work, a working fridge, a functional phone, and a small repair fund protect your income. Protection is part of building wealth, not separate from it. And once you can see the pattern, the story changes. It stops sounding like I keep messing up and starts sounding like I am paying for volatility. That shift matters because blame burns energy and systems save it. So if the problem is partly structural, what actually breaks the cycle without pretending you can just earn more next month? Here is the twist. The first win is not getting rich, it is getting calm. The poverty premium is real, but it is not unbeatable. The wealth-building move that feels almost backward is to aim for stability before optimization. In the comments, which fee has frustrated you most recently? A late fee, an overdraft, or a repair? Most people try to save faster while the leaks are still open. That feels productive, but the math often disagrees. If $100 goes into savings and $70 leaks back out in fees, you did not fail. Your system was underdefended. So the solution starts with switches, not willpower speeches. Think of this as a money-calm approach. Stop penalties first, then optimize. There are 3 switches, and each one is built for real life on a low or middle income. Switch 1 is this: build a buffer before chasing bigger goals. This matters because a small cash cushion can stop the bleed that creates high-cost debt and repeat penalties. A buffer of $500 to $1,000 will not solve every problem, but it can absorb a late bill, a tire repair, a copay, or a small travel emergency without turning into a fee cascade. Picture a $700 buffer and a $280 car repair. Without the buffer, that repair can become a credit card balance, interest charges, a late utility payment, and maybe a missed shift. With the buffer, it is still annoying, but it stays one problem instead of turning into 4. Start with a target that feels almost boring. First $100, then $250, then $500. Keep it in a separate savings account if possible, or in a separate cash envelope if banking access is limited. The point is distance, not perfection. If income is tight, use tiny automatic moves when you can. $10 a week becomes $520 in a year. A slice of a tax refund, 1 sold item, and 2 avoided fees can move that faster than people expect. You can also decide in advance where surprise money goes. Pick a rule now that 50% of overtime, side work, gifts, or windfalls goes to the buffer until you hit your target. Pre-decisions protect you when the cash arrives and your month is already noisy. And this is where net worth starts changing, even before investing enters the picture. When you stop borrowing for small emergencies, your debt grows more slowly, your cash survives longer, and your balance sheet becomes less fragile. That is wealth building in plain clothes. Switch 2 is this. Design your bill timing, because timing beats intention. This matters because many expensive mistakes are calendar problems wearing a moral costume. When deposits and due dates stop colliding, late fees and overdrafts drop, and your brain gets back some bandwidth for better decisions. A simple example. Your paycheck lands on the 1st and 15th, but 3 bills hit on the 28th. Call and move 1 or 2 due dates. Even shifting a $90 bill from the 28th to the 3rd can prevent a $35 fee every month. One phone call can be worth $420 a year. Use one bill calendar and one simple practice. Do not set autopay on a bill that can overdraw your account unless your buffer can cover it. For fixed bills, set reminders 3 days early. For variable bills, pay a little before the due date. When cash is in, then settle the rest if needed. Create a minimum safe mode for rough weeks. Cover rent, utilities, food, transport, and minimum debt payments first, while non-essential payments wait a few days if needed. This is not giving up. It is triage, and triage prevents expensive chaos. If you are unbanked, the same principle still helps. Batch errands to reduce transaction fees and travel costs, and line up payment days with income days whenever possible. The system is not always flexible, but more of it is flexible than people think. This is not glamorous. It is powerful. When fees stop landing, your monthly savings rate can rise without earning one extra dollar. Switch 3 is this. Upgrade cost quality one category at a time. This matters because lowering total cost over time creates room for buffers, debt payoff, and eventually simple long-term investing as a concept. Not aggressive investing. Just the boring, diversified, low-cost, long-horizon kind after your foundation stops shaking. Here is a simple example. Choose one category this month, maybe detergent or pantry staples, and make one strategic buy when cash is available. If a larger pack costs $14 and replaces 4 $5 trips, you spend $14 instead of $20 and save time. Next month, do the same thing with one durable household item. Then build a replacement ladder. Rank items by how much failure hurts your income or daily life. Work shoes, phone, car battery, tires, fridge, and so on. When extra cash appears, improve the next item on the ladder instead of scattering money across random purchases. Set a small threshold so the plan stays realistic. Maybe any unexpected amount over $30 gets split, some to the buffer and some to the next reliability upgrade. Small rules keep progress moving when income is uneven. This turns spending into risk management. You are not just treating yourself, you are reducing the probability of a future emergency. We do this in quiet ways all the time, and then act surprised when it works. The goal is not to own premium everything. The goal is fewer repeats, fewer fees, and fewer urgent decisions. Over time, those avoided costs become real cash, and real cash becomes options. Here is the payoff from the opening question. Being broke is often a timing and friction equation, not a character verdict. Less cash on hand, plus higher fees, plus higher unit prices, plus lower reliability equals constant pressure. Change the equation with a buffer, better timing, and strategic upgrades, and the pressure starts to drop even before income changes. That is why it costs money to be poor feels so brutal. It is not just the numbers, it is the feeling of doing everything you can while the floor keeps charging rent. But once you can name the mechanics, you can start interrupting them. Start small and repeat. Plug one leak, build one cushion, upgrade one weak point, then protect the gain. 1 minute of calm planning can beat 1 hour of panic spending. The wet boots part of the story matters, but so does the ending people usually skip. The moment your feet stay dry for a season, you think better. When you think better, fees drop. When fees drop, cash stays. When cash stays, you can build assets slowly and safely. That is how net worth grows for real people. Not by magic, but by fewer setbacks and more stability. This is Wealth Mentor Pro, and that is the kind of wealth we build here. If this helped, like the video and subscribe for more calm, practical money guidance. Watch the suggested video next while this is fresh, because the best time to make the first small change is before the next fee gets a vote.